All right, sit, cross your shins. Make sure the feet are underneath the knee so the heels are not pulled towards the groin, so there's some widening of the base thigh pelvis. Press your hands into your thighs, lift your spine up. Take the breath. Chin lifted, drop the shoulders as you exhale, but keep the lifted spine. Place hands on the thighs, push down again, lift up. Exhale, draw your back ribs in, stretch your side ribs forward. Lift your front ribs up without backward bending. It's not a push your ribs forward, it's a back ribs pull in. It's like you're trying to draw all the vertebrae or all the ribs themselves towards the vertebrae. Chin up, let your eyes close. Hands can rest on your lap. Still flexing the feet, still doing all those other parts and pieces. So it was a big in class. Check in with yourself on what your day has been. And even though things coming with you onto this yoga mat are being brought from farther back than the last 24 hours, just look at today. Look at the lightness or heaviness of everything you've gone through. And I mean everything, not just the work you had to do or the errands you had to run. But look at everything you've gone through mentally and emotionally too, the weight of those things. And that the weight of them seems so heavy to carry, maybe in just the last 24 hours. And you know that they've come before. This may not be a new weight. When you feel that weight of those things that you go through, recognize all the stories you tell yourself about them. Oh, I always get sad when I see X, Y, or Z, or my back or neck always hurts when I'm stressed, when I think about so, or when someone says this, it reminds me of this. And all the feelings, all the stuff that you go through when that comes up, all the things that you've done or continue to do to stop from having to feel those. Whether it's yoga or, whenever you get sad in a certain way, you have to listen to your favorite song, or all of that. And I ask not in judgment, but just in question of how much of the stuff that you do to bear the weight of your life is just to distract you that you do bear that weight versus making you healthy, happy, and strong enough to continue to bear that weight. Because, sad truth, the weight of our things doesn't get any easier. I lost a very close friend a few years back. It has never gotten easier than being gone. I've just had to learn how to get stronger to carry that weight. Are there things that you've been doing to distract yourselves from the weight you carry, my friends, so you don't have to be strong enough to carry that weight? Because I know it's easy to make excuses why we're not strong. It's hard to accept the compliments from others and from ourselves that we can move forward, that we can make change, that we are good enough, that we are exceptional or talented or hardworking. What are all the things you do to keep you from feeling that weight? Because you don't know if and when and how it's right time or whatever it is. Because that's how we spend. We can spend ourselves. Hiding from the things we carry. Maybe until they hurt us, but usually just never go away. Part of gaining that strength that the yoga practice offers us to learn is to feel the weight of those things, and feel how we can go through challenges become stronger from them. No different than when we stretch the hamstring or learn the headstand or do the backward bend or do more than 30 minutes of hip work. So that we feel comfortable looking at other weights we carry, mental, emotional, or maybe even other physical, so that we can own our own strength, our own power, that we can make these changes and accept the fact that we are all divine or exceptional or powerful or healers or wise or full of goddess energy or full of whatever. So that you can continue to do so. So you don't have to hide from the life and the weight you carry. So let our practice today, my friends, be one of testing ourselves. Maybe not from the poses themselves, but from our own focus, our own time in the work, and at least complimenting, recognizing that we're on the mat. We're here to do it because we all carry that, or at least for this moment. There's no one else in their space with you. Use I statements. I carry that greatness, that power, that healing, that whatever. To be strong, to carry the weights of my life so I don't have to run. I don't have to distract. I can be in the fullness of myself, my life, on the mat and ultimately off. Bring the palms together at the chest, thumbs touching the sternum. Back ribs in, side rib forward, front rib up, flex the feet, palms together. Yeah, or pet your dog, whatever you gotta do, keep it chill. Take a nice deep breath, blow them shortly 3 times and begin. Oh. Flex your feet again. Oh. Stay in the challenge of the moment. Oh. Bow your head. It's with the essence of yoga inside yourself. If you don't have your own personal idea, mantra, prayer, thought, limerick, rhyme, poem, whatever it is, what that might be, might I offer that your life is never stuck, static, or stale. That you are a part in, through, and are the ever-flowing change of the world. Bring your hands into your lap, let your head rise, your eyes open. All right, cool. So nice to see everybody. Dirt dog. Let's stand up. Let's do a few standing poses, and then we'll move on to some other stuff I have in mind. Stand in Tadasana, please. Thighs together, feet together. So thighs together, feet together, Tadasana. Arms alongside the body. Turn your palms back to the world behind you slightly for a moment. Take your hands out away from your hips, maybe just a couple inches. Now, the reason for this is it's very easy. You know, there's a lot of different schools of thought in Tadasana, but the 2 big ones that Mr. Angar taught from and that I've kind of learned to appreciate is the active extension of the arms, where you're pulling the arms, you're shooting, like you say, shooting energy through the fingers and whatever. Or then the passive. As he got older, he understood the passiveness better. He got appreciative of that, but there is something to both. There's a certain amount of activeness without agitation. So when you turn your palms back and have your hands about 6 inches away from your hip, don't just stretch through the fingers of the arms. Push back through the palms a little bit. Don't move your shoulder joints back. Don't squeeze your shoulder blades together. Just push your hand back a little bit, like there was an invisible wall right there and you're pressing into it. Feel how the inner arm, bicep, forearm might flex. And then turn your palms in towards your hips. Squeeze inwards like there was an imaginary wall there. So you feel the inner arm, armpit flex. Now turn your palms forward. Push forward with the palms a little bit like there was a magical wall there to push into. So you feel that little bit of resistance. And then ultimately turn your palms out wide and push out like there was a door frame you could push into. Feel those different muscle flexions where you just flex just enough to feel that muscle in that arm or shoulder engage and how it works on each side. So again, push out with the palms, try to keep that flex of the shoulder. Turn your palms forward, push forward, keep that flex of the back side of the shoulder and chest. palms in, squeeze in to feel the inner arm armpit flex, which widens the shoulder. Turn your palm back, push back to widen across the front of the chest and the upper inner collarbone, so forth. And then just try to let your shoulders do that work and feel the extension of your arms, but then turn your palms in and let your arms hang. But all of that work is still happening up in that upper shoulder girdle. Now, there are ways to practice this. You know, you can do it in a door frame or whatever, or you can put straps around your hands, you know, make a big loop. We're not going to do that right now. And start to work that. Because the activeness does not come in the limb pulling the center body. Some of you have heard me say something about this before. You have internal horsepower, use it. Make your work happen from the center body out. If this in Kundalini Yoga is where the great line of energy is, right? It's not down here in your arm. Your arm's not pulling that center line of energy. The center line of energy is extending out through each limb. This is important so that when you start working on poses like backward bends, inversions, headstands, or any of those poses, your center body is creating a stability that allows the limb to move safely and without a risk. So again, so you've got that upper body girdle set. That's Tadasana in the upper body. It doesn't have to be about how much your arm's pulling your shoulder away, but now that you feel the engagement of all those shoulders, your arms extended just from the upper body. Do the same in the legs. Don't turn your legs in and out. Push down through the feet. Push your quads back towards the hamstring, but then suck your hamstrings towards your quads. They've got to work against each other. Push your outer thigh to your inner thigh, but then flex your inner thigh like they're trying to push out a little bit. So you have what I call the crossroad joints, right? Here's your spine, this is the main highway, here's your crossroads. Same up at the shoulders, are both deeply engaged. That takes a lot of mental work right out the gate, but it sets your spine. Once you start getting all four quadrants of the arms and legs set, you really do get a lot more stability in the spinal column because your back's not having to manipulate one way or the other, nor your limbs pulling you one way or the other. So as we go through a few standing poses today and then get into the other stuff, kind of be aware of that. How much are you engaging the front, back, inside, outside, so you feel that stability in action through those joint sets or the crossroads and the spinal stability. All right, take a nice deep step apart, about 3.5 to 4 foot. And we could spend a whole class propping out and doing that. But we'll save that for in studio one day. Turn the right toes out. Turn your left toes in deeply. Take both hands onto your hips. Rotate your pelvis to face out over your right thigh. All right, so even here, before we go any further into any pose, where's your arms? Did your shoulders lose that upper widening lift that Tadasana gave you? So stretch your arms down alongside your body, turn your palms back, push your hands back, feel the flex, keep it. Turn your palms towards your hips, squeeze your palms in without pressing in, like to the hip physically. You've got to just imagine, like do the muscle flexion of this. And then turn your palms forward, push forward so you feel the shoulder blade open wide. Turn the palms out, press out so you feel that shoulder blade set into your back. And you keep all four sides of that and now twist your core body into the pose. Then turn your palms in, but keep the upper body flexed. Do your legs. Press your thigh muscles, the front muscle of the leg back to the hamstring. Now push your hamstring towards your thigh. Push your outer thigh to your inner thigh. Push your inner thigh to your outer thigh. Now twist your hips into it more. So those limbs, the core body is extending through the legs now. You can push harder into the earth and then twist and rotate the joint pelvis body. You might shake a little bit. I'm happy for you. She already is. Tristan's working very hard. Stretch both arms up, palms facing in, palms tight together. No, palms tight together. I know the order to do this. Don't worry. She asked if she could bend her knees. No, not yet. Straight arms, palms tight. Look up at your hands. Are you still engaging the shoulder blades to lift and extend in the same way? So you're using all sides of the crossroads of the joint, the shoulder joints, to extend through those limbs. So your chest and back is lifting your limbs up, not just your limbs, dragging your spine up. And now keep looking up, bend the right knee. Warrior one. Take a breath. And then check in with your legs. Which of the four sides of your leg quit working? Re-engage it. Front, back, inner, outer. Arms, front, back, inner, outer. And then lift the spine into those spaces. Take a breath. Take two. That was a small one you just did. I'm not going to name names, but you know who you are. Those of you that don't take those deeper breaths. Remember, if you treat your yoga poses like there's something you need to fight, it's just going to be nothing but a fight. It never has the chance to become healing, relaxing, soothing, loving, caring. All these things are qualities that we so often hear about these poses. So my friends, can you take a breath into this? That is what you want. Loving, caring, healing, soothing, whatever, right? You have to step into that role. You have to open up to being that first with your breath, so then you can bear the weight of everything you got going on, including being stuck in this damn pose. Oh no, the teacher swore. All right. Straighten the leg, bring the arms down, rotate the body to center, turn the left toes out, rotate out. Rotate your pelvis. Just for the last moment, palms back, arms straight. Push your hands back so you feel that flex. Keep it. Turn the palms in towards the hips. Press in. Keep it. Turn the palms forward. Press forward. Keep the flex. Turn the palms out. Press out. Keep the flex. Now stretch both arms straight up. Lift. Feel that core body lift. Feel the spine that can lift. Squeeze the palms tight together. Look up at the hands. This is to help teach you move to your head back, to lift the head up so you get out of this shoulder neck thing of. Take the nice breath. Check your thighs. Front thigh pushing to hamstring, not knee. I've never said your knee. Keep your knee out of this. Go to the muscle above it. Push your quad to the bone. Pull your hamstring to the bone. Mr. Iyengar would say, suck the muscle to the bone. Keep it there. Outer thigh pushes to inner thigh. Inner thigh sucks to the bone. Then bend the right knee, or left knee, excuse me. Right leg straight. Left knee bends into the pose. Don't look down, look up. There's no reason when your knee bends, your head should come down. Lift your head up higher. As much as you're lifting your arms from your back, lift your head from your chest. That's where you learn to do the upper thoracic bend. Take a breath. Oh, some people have snuck in. This is nice. Chaya, hi. Don't wave. Stay in the pose. Chuba, nice to see you. Caitlin Connor. Oh, wow. Isaac's back. Becca's still here. Bend that knee, Micah. There you go, buddy. I like how 3 of you did that. I only asked Micah 2. See, we're all connected. I could ask one student to make an adjustment and everyone else checks themselves. So, you know, no one ever truly suffers alone. Take a breath. Except Tristan right now. She's kind of stuck right here. She can't disconnect her internet. Take a breath. Straighten the leg first. Bring the arms down. Bring the head down. Turn the body forward. Turn the right toes out. Don't twist your hips. Keep your hips facing forward. Stretch your arms out wide. Same action for a moment. Turn your palms back. Push your hands back. Feel that upper back flex. Keep that upper back flex when you push your hands back. This is not, again, do not push your shoulder blades together, right? Remember, if you were here Tuesday, I said, don't squeeze your shoulder blades together like barn doors on this. Let the barn doors be open, but push them in to the barn of your rib cage. Push your hands back so you feel that upper back flex a little. Turn your palms down, push down so you feel them have to widen, the armpit engage. Turn your palms forward, push forward a little bit. So you feel that tricep scoop under. Turn your palms up, push up a little bit so you feel the intercostal and the chest muscle flip. And then turn your palms down, but keep all that upper body stuff engaged. Let your chest lift into it. Bend the right knee, warrior 2. Step wider if your knee's not above your heel. This is warrior two. Laura, step much wider, friend. You're much taller than you give yourself credit for. Wider. 3.5 to 4 foot apart. I don't think you're renting that yoga mat by the inch, are you? Use the whole thing. You don't have a yoga mat? It's all right. Blankets are good too. Carpet works. We do everything we can. Bend those right knees deep. Shubha, your arms are too far back, dear. Bring them in line with your shoulders. You're throwing your chest. There you go. Don't make everything about your arms. Let your chest lift and stretch your chest out to your hands. There you go. Make it work from here out, not out in. Here out. Yoga is an internal to external. Work your legs for a moment. Suck the muscles around the whole of the leg into the bone. And then sit your hips into the stretch. Simple poses. Done them billions of times. Going to do them a billion more before we understand anything about them. Straighten the legs. Keep your arms. Turn your right toes in. Turn your left toes out. If you lost your arms, if you came out because you're tired and you're going to re-into it, take just a brief second on each side. One breath, turning the hands in the 4 directions and pushing so you get that full extension again. And then bend the left knee. Oh my God, why are we doing this? How long did you sit in front of your computer today? Shubha, stand wider, dear. Stand wider. There you go. So, last few seconds, which can turn into minutes if I start talking, so I'm going to try to restrain. Take a nice deep breath. Bring your body up. Turn your left toes in, right toes out. Try to keep your arms. Just stay in it. Bend the right knee, warrior two again. Turn your upper body to face over the right thigh like you're going to do warrior one. Let your arms swing with you. So your arms helicopter around. Let your left heel pick up off the floor. Can't see, Tristan, got left heel up. Back leg active, suck all the muscle to the bone, both legs. Bend the right knee deep. And now, stretch your left arm out in front of you as far as you can reach it. Lean your chest out. Literally reach for it. So your chest comes down and your body extends. Now take your left elbow onto your right knee. Take your right palm onto your left palm. Right elbow points up to the ceiling. Push your right hand into the left hand, your left elbow into the knee, and twist to the right. Shake, wobble. Give yourself permission to fail beautifully, but to succeed gracefully. So if you fall, find some beauty in it. Give yourself permission to test, to practice. And in practice, we find failure because it's practice. This isn't the big show for you, I hope. This isn't the moment when you feel like you're on stage and everyone's going to say this. There's no yoga Olympics. There's no yoga competition. This isn't RuPaul's yoga drag race. You just do the pose. You can practice. That's why it's called the practice, not the show, not the competition. All right. So take a breath. Give yourself permission to fall. If you need to, spin your left heel back in, bring your body all the way back up. Turn the left toes out, turn the right toes in. Woo! Burning. Left toes out, right toes in, arms out. Check your arms. Take a breath on each side, up, down, back, forward. Get all those arm actions. Don't just spin them. Push through them. Lock that back muscle in. Lock your chest in. Don't just make this the pose. Flinging your arms around is not the pose. Engaging to the deeper part of your body is the pose. Yoga is wrapped in silly levels of metaphor about this. All right, bend the left knee. Rotate, helicopter the body around towards the left thigh. Twist your upper body more, reach your right arm out, way out over that leg. Take a breath. Spin your right heel up. I forgot that part. Take your right elbow to your left knee. Take your left elbow, hand to the right. Palm to palm, press the left hand into the right, so you press the arm into the knee. Keep that right thigh active. Take a minute, suck all the muscle of the legs to the bones. And then use the arms and the core. Flex your upper back, flex those shoulder blades, and pull your right and left shoulder blade into the twist. Right one moves into your ribs harder. Left one pulls away from your ribs, so your ribs have to follow. Take a breath. Don't be in class. You don't want to be adjusted. Take a nice deep breath in. Remember, give yourself permission to fail beautifully, to succeed gracefully. It's part of learning your strength. To practice being strong is to also practice being loving. Practice being humorous. Spin your back heel in. Bring your body up out of the pose. Turn your left toes forward. Take both hands onto the floor in front of you. Posada Pottanasana, standing straddle stretch. Nice, head down. Take a second, enjoy this moment. So as you rotate the thighs in, you open the hips, you extend and relieve the spine in that way. Remember, forward folds from a purely physical point of view is always the extension of the spine down, not the crunching of the front body, but stretch the front and back body. And then think about when you've got your front body long, think about your navel lifting towards your spine, your front ribs moving out. So you open your lungs, you open your ribs, and then take a deep breath to your back body and go from your bottom ribs and slide those bottom ribs to the top ribs. And each rib slides to the one above it until your head hangs and your upper, it feels like your upper back is stretched over your front body. Even if you don't go down, you're still keeping the front nice and stable so you can stretch that muscle across all that rib cage and all that front. And then even here, in a pose that seems so simple, we've all fallen, we've all have weird feelings about ourselves in our poses. We all carry different weight. Check in with what's the feeling and language about yourself, right? Because self-doubt is a pretty heavy thing. And give yourself permission to carry the weight of it. Place both hands on your hips. Keep yourself folded forward. Don't come out. Challenge yourself. Physically, strengthen the legs, strengthen the muscles that hold you up, right? See how many of you are bringing your chest up because you were putting so much into your arms and neck. Keep your thighs active. Make them more active. Access new and different muscles that might be in here that you didn't even know you had, including your swearing ones. Trust me, you're all muted. You can swear as much as you want. She can't. Well, she can. I do all the time. So swear all you want. Ain't no one here going to care. Linda might care. Take a breath. Take a deeper breath into your abdomen. Take a deeper breath into your lungs and ribs. So you stretch your whole body into the pose. Keep your legs active. Push through the feet. Extend from the core, from the abdomen down through the heels. Pick yourself up from the abdomen up to the chest. Well done. Have a seat on the floor. Baddha Konasana, bound angle. Soles of the feet together, knees wide. Ooh, hip hop. No, you want to face that. So from Baddha Konasana, just for a moment, push the feet together and then press your fingertips into the floor next to your hips. Scoot your hips forward towards your heels. Don't be afraid to get close. It's only you. Trust me, those heels aren't anything bad. Groin's going to just talk about it. And try not to push your chest out. Remember what we've worked on in the past weeks is finding that space of your shoulder above your hip so you're not over manipulating with your spine. You over manipulate your spine, your groin won't catch it. That will make all of this other stuff harder. Push through the fingertips, lift up nice and tall. Push your feet down into the floor. So it's not about pushing your knee down. Remember, we did, if you were here for Tuesday's class, talked about you push into the earth the parts that are already touching. So if your knees are on the floor, congratulations. You get to push your whole foot, knee, and shin down. But here, for most of us, like myself even, most days, push the foot down into the floor, and that will teach your thighs to open out instead of worrying about just pressing down. So it's about flexing this muscle, no different than our standing poses. Think about even pushing your hips down into the floor so you can lift your chest and heart up more from the abdominis and back. So it's not about pushing the groin down. You got to find those bony protrusions of your pelvis, your sits bones, and push those down so your abdominis can lift your spine up. So you get that big, very big lifted yoga chest thing going on. Good. Reach forward, grab your big toes, one in each hand with the index and middle finger, and then take your thumb, the very large joint, the metatarsal right there, put your thumb on the side of that. Push down hard on that spot where you get bunions and hammer toe. Push down on that spot with your thumb, push your feet hard into the floor on the strength of your legs, and then pull up on those big toes. If you're like, oh no, if I pull too hard, they'll break. Unless you have a medical thing or are hypermobile like me, you will not break them. I have come close to breaking them, but that's also because of my genetic condition. Pull up on the big toe, push the feet into the floor, push the big toe joint down, and then work on pushing your hips down so you get that spinal lift. You ever just try pushing your hips down like through your leg strength? Not pushing your knees down, but flex your thighs and push your sits bones down. You'll find your legs activate your back and groin much more. Try it next time you sit into a chair. When you're sitting in your desk chair and everything, get your thighs level with your hip, your knees under your heels, and push your feet down into the ground, and then push your hips deeper into the chair. You'll sit up straighter. Not about how much your spine does this all day, but your roots lifting your trunk. Metaphorical. Good. Stretch your chest over, still pulling up on the big toes, pushing your feet harder into the floor. So you get that extension. Push your hips hard into the floor. So as you push your hips down, you might find your pelvis rotates better. Take a few breaths. Even if you only just go forward an inch or two, it's okay. You're still pulling up on the big toes. You're still flexing the thighs to push the feet down. The head should still be up and looking out. So you start training this upper part of your back to work. And now we can do all that same arm stuff we did in standing poses, but I am not cruel. I'm not going to do that to you now. I'll leave that to you, that thought for you to experiment on your own practice later. I don't want to have a yoga revolt. Especially from her. The dogs are on her side. Huh? She fed them first, so yeah. Bring your body up, still holding onto your big toes, one in each hand. Lean back now so you feel like your weight's starting to shift towards the back side of your bottom side of your pelvis. And for a moment, have some fun. Lean back enough and just let your feet come up off the floor. Tristan's doing a really good job of it. If you fall backwards, you fall backwards. Let's have some fun. Laugh about it. At what point in your practice do you give yourself permission to just fuck up? So it's practice. Doesn't have to be perfect. So if you fall back, great, you fall back. You have a hip cramp, awesome. You get upset, awesome. This is the time for it. This isn't the big show. I think there is a emphasis on practice that is almost toxic in the sense that we make this huge deal about you always have to practice, you always have to do. What are you practicing? Perfection? Are you practicing nice? Are you practicing mean? Are you practicing judgment? What are you practicing in this? What are you practicing on this mat more than just shapes? Think about it. So from here, keep your left foot where it is, and your left foot can come onto the floor as a balance point. Push your right foot out in front of you. Still trying to float on your butt. Ooh, look at you. Even just a little bit, Lena. There you go. Use that hand to support your spine. Nice, good balance. Is that a couch? You're using your couch? I love it. Now, don't take your right leg out to the right. I said straight in front of you. Half of you are letting your right leg like stray off towards the kitchen. Pull it in. Squeeze your right thigh towards your left side, like Tadasana. Suck all the muscle to the bone. And now think about how you can push through your hips from your core to let your legs stretch, and then lift your heart from your upper thoracic. Make your upper back move into the chest to lift you. Bend your right knee, bring your feet together. Try to keep your feet floating. If you come down, you come down. All right. Just always little challenges, hard modes. Push your left leg out. This is a video game. You might get the achievement. Keep it floating where you don't let your feet hit the floor. Don't let your leg stray to the side. Keep your left leg pulled towards center. Oh my God, that's a yoga app. Maybe. Push the foot into the pose. Use the muscle around the bone to suck it to the bone. Work from the abdomen down to the hips. Work from the abdomen up to the chest so you can move your chest into it. Fall, laugh, or something. Now try both legs straight for a second. Just give them both out there. Give it a go. And you may be stuck here with your knees bent, holding on like, oh God, it's all right. You do everything you can. Both at the same time, Kai, not out wide, in front. Go front. Someone asked for only 30 minutes of hip work. So that's what you get. It's not Katie's fault. I had other plans in mind long before. All right, come down, feet together. Try it. Don't sit on blankets. Sit on the floor and do this. You'll feel like you'll fall backwards too much. Feet together, knees wide. Do Baddha, reset. Pull up on the big toe, push down on the joint. Push your feet into the floor, push your hips into the floor. Get the lift. Get all that other parts and pieces first, and then we'll do the other part. Tristan just asked a good question, so you could all take a relaxing moment. Why hold on to the toes instead of the outside of the foot or the top of the foot? So when you are doing these poses and you're extending the leg and you push through your big toe, Micah, I think it was Micah, asked last Tuesday why the outside of his foot was hurt, stretching. I said you have to lengthen the inside of the foot. When you hold onto the big toe and put your foot against your hand, that is all you lengthening the inside of the foot, the part that's the tightest on all of us, the inner ankle, the inner groin, down through the inner knee. When you hold onto the top of the foot and push, it's easy to twist your ankle. It's easy to twist the knee. If you hold onto the side of the foot, it's easy to twist the foot out. Hold on to the inner heel, twist out. When you hold that big toe and you push through the foot, this thing doesn't go anywhere else. It engages all the muscle around all the points. That makes sense? It also makes your Achilles tendon, or not your Achilles, your plantar fascia very strong, because when you push, you have to actively push your big toe and your whole foot into it. Might give you a calf cramp, like you just about did me. All right. Does that answer it? See how good she is? She even knows to ask questions now. She like figured it out so you could all rest. Lean back. She's going to be your hero by the end of the. I'm going to make her teach class one of these days. Lean back. Hips, feet off the floor. Float up. All right. Now, for those of you that were taking your legs wide, this is your jam. Arms on the inside of the leg. Push the foot into the hand. Stretch your leg out wide. You're fine. There. Just your right one, not in front. Swing your right leg right to the right shuba. Yeah, there you go. Now pick your heart up. Feel like you're going to fall. So you feel with one leg out, you've got to really work from your core. Press through the hips so you can extend through the leg. Branches grow from trunks. Get your trunk stable. Oh, I love it, Laura. Good. Good smile about falling. Love it. Bring the right foot in, stretch your left leg out. Kick me. She was kicking. You see her try to kick me? That's recorded now. Push through the hips. Push the foot into the hand. You saw me do it on camera. I was just throttle pushing my foot against my arms. Make your fingers very strong. Helps you get Pringles out of the can. All right, full show, both legs out. Give it a go. Even if you're only like holding your feet up in the air like this and your both knees are wide, you feel your pelvis, groin, and hips work a little. And then when you fall, what are you going to practice in the moment? You're on your mat. What are you practicing with you? What's the weight? And then what's the thing you've been doing to hide from it? And what's the thing you need to practice being to carry it? What's the compassion, the love, the laughter that you need to be practicing? Not just these poses, but what do you create in these poses for yourself? All right, come out. Nice. You okay? Great. Lay on your stomachs. A little bit of backward bending, quad hip. I'll do some other stuff. Working hard today because I'm not gonna see some of you for like until Tuesday, so I got to make sure you're sore enough you don't forget. Laying on your stomach with your arms laying alongside your body. You can have something for your forehead if you want, or you may turn your head to either side, whatever's more comfortable for you. And then just listen. I know some of you like to really watch, but practice hearing. Bend your left knee so your left heel comes towards your glute or your buttock. Take your left hand back and grab the top of the left foot and pull the heel down towards your glute as deep as you can. Keep your knees together. When you keep your knees tight together, actively pull your thighs together. And then keep your thighs together. Move your left foot to the left, to the outside of the hip. Not very far. It's not rotating it all the way to the floor. You only move the heel just enough to the outside of the hip that when you pull down, the heel would eventually touch the floor next to your hip. So it's not twisting your leg. You only rotate the foot out half an inch to an inch more and then draw the heel down. And it may not touch the floor. Don't worry if it doesn't. It takes a long time to get the heels to the floor and there's a lot of knee mobility, a lot of quad, a lot of back. Thighs tight. Work more on squeezing the legs tight together than you are about pulling the foot down. The thighs coming tight together is what will change the back muscle, the pelvis, the hip. Switch legs. Left foot, pull it in, slide the left heel just an inch or two to the, or the right heel just an inch or two to the right. Pull the heel down. Bend both knees, grab both feet, try to keep the thighs together as best you can. It may not be perfect, but you know, right? This is the time of practice, not of perfection. They called it the yoga perfect instead of the yoga practice. I think fewer people would do it. Don't let practice be toxic. Let it be many things but that. Now, bend your elbows so your elbow joints point up towards the ceiling. Keep those elbows bent. Keep pulling the heels down. Bend the elbows so you feel the bicep shoulder flex. Lift your head and look out in front of you. And as best you can, take the deep abdominal breath, squeeze your thighs tight, and pick your chest up, even just half an inch, an idea of an inch. You pick up and look out, but your heels pull down and your elbows bend, your arms flex to pull you up. Very nice, everybody. Breathe, don't give out, and quit. What are you practicing in the pose? Physiological, you're working your core, your back, you're massaging the abdominal muscles, you're strengthening the quads. You're flexing and spreading the sacral plate muscles, the piriformis. You're challenging your shoulder and neck to be stronger and lift. We could physiologically go over it all day. But this isn't anatomy class. Come down. Stretch your legs out, just lay on the floor for a second, take a few breaths. Feel the weight of your body in 4 sections. If you were to draw a line across the center of your pelvis, left to right, and from the crown of your head down to your tailbone, splitting you into 4 sections, feel the weight of your left side, arm and chest, left hip and leg, and is it the same weight on the floor as your right side, chest and arm, right hip and leg? So you got to compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges. So the left hip to right shoulder doesn't matter. It's hip versus hip and leg versus chest versus chest. You can't correct it, but just be aware of it, that that's your body's twist, and it will make certain parts of this next little bit challenging. Be aware to try and keep the weight equal as you can across all parts. Lift your right leg up off the floor straight as high as you can, pointing the foot. When you lifted it up, how much weight shifted to the left or right of your ribs and into your left leg? Can you not lean only onto your left side? Could you keep some weight in your right side? So your right hamstring has to do the lift. Tristan has ridiculously strong hamstring. Better than mine at this point. Bring your right leg down, lift your left leg up, straight leg, point the foot, deeply lift. Oh, your left leg is more ridiculous. You're better than that. I need to change it. To work on the body. Now pick up both legs. Just lift them as high as you can. Did you lift your chest up? Keep your chest down. Did you lift your neck up? Keep your neck down. Remember, keep the other parts even as these two work. Bring your legs down. Look out with your head. Rest your chin on the floor. Let your chest lift up half an inch or higher. Just pick your chest up and look out. Pick your hands up the height of your shoulders behind you with your palms flat. Flat to the ceiling. There you go. Straight arms, Chaya. No using hands to lift. Arms are floating back behind you. There you go. Now, can you stretch your arms the same way you did your arms in Tadasana? Turn your palms towards each other. Squeeze in. Turn your palms down to the floor. Press down. Turn your palms out. Press out. And then turn your palms back up to the ceiling and then re-lift it all at once. So you get way into your upper back. See how annoying that is? That's why we haven't done it in the rest of the class. You do it 1 or 2 poses and then you do it once in a while after. Bring your chest down. Pick up both legs 2 inches or more off the floor. If you do more, I'm just saying, you did this to yourself. Now look out with your head. Now pick your chest up off the floor and pick both hands up as high as you can. Nope, not out wide. We're not airplanes. Arms stretch back alongside the body, palms up to the ceiling. Lift your palms. Think about your palms and hamstrings going higher. Think about your shoulders flexing to lift your head up. Don't look down at the floor, look out in the distance. Move your whole face to the distance away from you. Take a breath. Pray for 30 more minutes of hip work next time. I'm joking. Come down and rest. Flip over onto your back. Laying flat on your back. You probably didn't hear Tristan. She just went, oh shit. She's so anticipating. Bend the left knee to your chest. Take your left hand or right hand to the outside of your left knee. Push your knee into your hand into your knee, and then pull the left leg and your left pelvis. Roll onto your right hip into the twist. Pushing your knee up into your hand the whole time. Keep the leg active. And then take a breath and stretch your left ribs away from your hip. Not your shoulder, not your arm. Remember what I said at the very start of class? Don't make this about your limbs pulling your core. Make this about your core extending your limbs. So as you twist that left leg across, take an abdominal breath. Push what is already touching into the floor harder. So push your right thigh down. Work the muscle of your leg to the bone, especially on the inner left leg. And then as you push your right foot into the floor, your leg into the floor, let your left hip move across it. And then take the deep breath from your abdomen. Let your abdomen lift towards your ribs and stretch your left ribs towards your left hand, not your shoulder to the ground. Get a few breaths. Good. Untwist. Stretch the leg straight. Draw the right knee to the chest. Left hand to outer right knee. Twist across. Let your shoulder come up if it's going to come up. Don't force your body into a shape that it's not going to take. Experiment, explore, then challenge. Press the left leg down. Work that which is already into the ground harder into the ground. And then push your right thigh up into your hand. Don't just pull the leg down. Don't use the arm just to jerk the knee down, but flex the leg to push up against it so the hip moves, the hip opens. And then as you push your left thigh into the floor on its own strength, let the right hip stretch across. Breathe deep. Breathe deep to the abdomen so your ribs have to lift, and stretch your ribs towards your hand, not just down to the ground. Take a few more breaths. Untwist. Stretch your legs out. Let your eyes close. All right, friends. Did you practice on the yoga mat? The thing that you needed to be to carry the weight you've got? Feel the weight of who you are, of your day. Feel how you're still here with it, not running from it, but being more and more prepared to carry it for the whole of your life. And the things, the strength that you'll get from it, that you'll ultimately will share with others, and help make this world, at least your world, the world of your friends around you, your family, your work, something better than what it is. And rest until I ring the bell, and enjoy the fruits of your yogic practice. Slowly increase the depths of your breathing. Begin to awaken the body, opening and closing the hands, pointing and flexing the feet. Bend your knees, roll your body to the right side. Press your palms into the floor and slowly up you come. All right. Until we meet again. Namaste. All right, stop the recording.